Welcome to Friday, TGIF. It's May 3rd, 2024. May is here, and now is the perfect time to start making plans for those summer adventures. What better place to spend time outdoors than a Wyoming State Park or historic site? Visit wyoparks.org for more information. As we told you yesterday, the weather was going to be testing your patience for the next week, and it will be. Hopefully, after this unsettled period of weather over the next week, things will settle down and get a little warmer and a little more consistent. But there's going to be more downs than ups between now and late next week. We have another one of these small Pacific waves coming through today. So some of you, not all of you, some of you will experience some showers, cool temperatures, and brisk winds. Then we have this brief warm-up that's going to happen over the weekend. At least the timing's good that we're going to have some warmer weather. Saturday is still going to be a little on the cooler side to start, warming up as the day wears on. The warmest day is going to be Sunday. But as we get into Sunday night late into Monday, this next Pacific trough will come through. We'll have some scattered showers and thunderstorms late Sunday afternoon and evening out on the plains. And then as the low jumps over the divide, we'll have a mixed bag of weather, really focusing on those northern areas. For you folks in Montana, the northern half of Wyoming, and the Dakotas. That's where the heaviest precipitation is going to be. Now, you get further south into southern Wyoming, Colorado, elsewhere, there's going to be some shower and thunderstorm activity, but I'm afraid to say it's the wind. If you're not in the wet part of the storm, most of you will be in the windy part of the storm. So this is where the weather will just grate on your nerves. Really starting Saturday night and Sunday along Interstate 80 in Wyoming. Then the wind will spread southeast and even into the northern areas from Sunday night through Wednesday of next week. It's just going to be a persistent and strong gusty wind over a large part of the west. So if any of you are going to be driving an RV, pulling a trailer, doing that type of thing in this region, you're going to need to watch that wind because that low, when they track up north, you get a lot of wind along Interstate 80, I-25, we're also I-70, but you're also going to get a lot of wind around I-40 and eventually up and along Interstate 90, even the northern areas as well. This will allow colder air to just sit in the region with this low, so temperatures aren't going to be breaking any records, but they're certainly not going to be warm either. Things are going to be a bit on the cool side for pretty much all of next week. The satellite imagery this morning shows the next little Pacific wave coming through right now. Here's the low back up here that's going to be forming and coming into the Pacific Northwest coast this weekend. And eventually this system right here will be the weather maker next week. When we look at that weather maker, there it is off the coast of British Columbia right now. We have this tailing edge of a frontal system from this low in south central Canada. This is what's going to make today unsettled. Just a little bit of shower activity. This looks just like the maps I've shown you all week. There's going to be some showers moving through along an axis right here, showers and thunderstorms out on the plains. Doesn't look like anything severe today. And then here's the increasing rain that's coming in between now and Saturday morning along the west coast into the Pacific Northwest. Then going with the temperatures, these are the highs for tomorrow. So they're not real warm, but they're warmer. 50s and 60s will be commonplace. You can see the heat building into the deserts, and this is the heat that gets pushed northeastward on Sunday. So on Saturday, as the low comes in and gets closer, it draws this warmer air up from the deserts. So we have a brief moment where a southwest wind aloft ahead of the low will warm us up. So these are Sunday's highs. Look at this. South central Montana may make the low 80s, 70s elsewhere. So if you want to do anything, I guess, along and east of this line, Sunday's the day to be outside and enjoy the warmer temperatures. Now, it will be a little bit breezy, but you can see the cold. So we've got lower 80s in southeast Montana, struggling to get out of the 40s in Boise. So you're looking at quite the contrast here between west of the divide and east of the divide. And when you have the contrast, that's when you start to see the weather start to hum. So take advantage of the temperatures this weekend, especially on Sunday. By noon Monday, that low is just about near Gillette and is going to be curving northeastward and curving back up into here, taking its time doing so. And the counterclockwise rotation will draw in Canadian air And this is where you get the axis of heavier moisture north of the low. Northwest of the lows is where the heavier moisture will get concentrated. Then the strong jet stream winds perpendicular to the front range. That means wind on the southern edge. And we'll have severe thunderstorms breaking out early next week across the upper Midwest as that system pushes on through. This is by Tuesday. So see where the system isn't going very far? Monday, Tuesday. So it's just going to continue to hang around the region. And this is where that heavier moisture will be. It's showing about where it has been across portions of Saskatchewan, Alberta, Montana, the northern half of Wyoming, basically right along and just near that I-90 corridor into the Dakotas. Wraparound moisture gets into the mountains of Wyoming, Utah, and Idaho. Notice we have this little area right here. This is a downslope zone. So this is because of the wind. So you're not going to be able to get much moisture because of the air going downhill, downslope. Downsloping causes the air to dry out. So you're going to see the heaviest moisture in the northern areas. Could be pretty significant when you look at those rainfall totals, but also the Black Hills. This is a situation where I think the Black Hills of Wyoming and South Dakota, the higher Black Hills will be hit with some spring snows. Look at the Bighorns. Bighorns could really, actually, this is quite a good situation for the high Bighorns to see quite a bit of snow. The Beartooth Mountains as well, the Yellowstone Plateau back in the mountains of Montana, then the northwest winds aloft. This is a good way to make it snow in the southern mountains of Wyoming and northern Colorado as well. Then the downslope east of the divide, and there's the downsloping winds. Will this reach the level of the windstorm we had in early April that was so destructive? No, it's not quite the same scenario, but this is a prolonged period of strong winds. Where you see the orange and the brighter red colors here over this large area, you can just see that there's going to be a lot of the west over a 4 to 5 day period that's going to be very persistently windy with this low sitting up here. But even as the low intensifies, these areas here will be impacted by high winds as well. This is a not very pretty looking forecast. By late next week, by next Friday, the system really doesn't do much in terms of movement. It's still kind of hanging around. And if you follow the wind flow, notice those black little wind barbs coming from the north. So if the door's open to Canada, obviously you're going to be cooler. So this will keep a persistently cool forecast in place all of next week and into at least the start of Mother's Day weekend. Maybe we can get lucky on Mother's Day and start to warm up, but through Saturday of next weekend, expect below average temperatures. And these are the weekly anomalies. If you add up the next 7 days and you see the blue and the green, that means temperatures compared to the 30-year average will be below normal in the blue, well below normal in the green. And so this is a lot of real estate where the colder air is going to be piling in behind that trough of low pressure. So don't put the jackets away just yet. Have yourself a good weekend despite that forecast. We'll see you on Monday.